Ladies and gentlemen, big hairy news.
Hey, kia ora koutou whānau. Welcome to Big Hairy News Friday edition with myself in Magenta. Hi, Magenta. How are you?
So, yeah, not too bad actually. It's been a pretty good week. Not
Nice.
too bad.
Nice. Get up to anything exciting?
Well, I mean, I just started being a participant in a study on vaccine needle length. So I went and got COVID vaccine, and we're not supposed to know which needle we got, but I'm pretty sure I got the big one. It was owie wowie, but obviously they're needed for different arm sizes, so it's really cool to be a part of that. I also saw something kind of funny when I was at the supermarket afterwards. So I was going to Pack and Save. What's wrong with this picture? This is
why is it in a weird sport or
do these two things match each other?
No.
Ems doesn't realize.
What?
There we go. There we go.
I thought you meant the signage.
No, yeah.
Was it someone just taking a break, or are they right next to each other?
Well, they are next to each other, but the one across the road wasn't exactly like full in the parking lot. So I don't know why they were parked there. I just gave me a little bit of a giggle, on the way out. So I thought I'd show everyone that just as a fun little hee.
I love it. That's very cool. Well, tonight's a bit of a special one. We've been given the privilege of the very first BHN. No, sorry, the birthday of BHN.
Birthday. Yes.
I don't know if Pat said which birthday. Did he?
Third.
I feel like he said
birthday.
It was the third birthday, right?
Yes. BHN is a whole 3-year-old.
Third birthday. It's a whole 3 year. We're a toddler.
Right,
We're a toddler crew. So what I thought I would do, which I probably should tee this up. By the end of the show, I will tee up the. So you guys have to wait. You stick around. I'll show a bit of a snippet of what the first episode looked like in 2020. If I can do my math correctly, if we're 3, it would be 22, right? Right?
No, wouldn't it be 2022?
No, because 22, 23, 23 to 24, 24 to 25.
I don't know. Someone else who's smarter than us, tell us which one.
It's 22, right? It's 22. It's 22. Yes.
I hate math.
Squirrel has... I fucking hate math. I hate calculating. Because in some countries and in some cultures, they calculate your birthday from the day you're born as 1. So it's actually not how many years...
they changed that, though. They did just change that recently. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was getting to... Yeah. So they did just recently change. I think it was only last year or something they changed it, maybe the year before.
Okay. So we're all on the same page now.
Yeah, I didn't come here to do math, all right?
Look, it's important. Sometimes we have to challenge ourselves, guys. We have to be able to do 25 minus 3. Yeah. So stick around to the end of the episode, and we will show you some exciting little footage. Although if you really wanted to, you could pause it and go find it yourself. But we will react to it ourselves. How does that sound?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Should be fun. So happy birthday to BHN. Congrats, guys. We made it to 3 years.
Right? And this is the cosplay attempt for anyone.
Oh, yes.
Not Christmas. I'm just joining Ems in solidarity, and it was the closest thing I had to me.
So tomorrow I'm helping out with Japan Fiesta, which is it's like a Japan Day type thing here in Christchurch. And I'm kind of in the cosplay scene. Not so much these days, not so much participating, but I'm kind of like one of the old grandmas these days.
So
Pat asked me to come here and cosplay. This is the best I could do, considering I've got a ton of things to do for an event. So this is my attempt at cosplay. And yes, Magenta's joined me in solidarity. So you can blame Pat for whatever this is. It's a bit of fun on a Friday. Speaking of Friday, it means that we're at the end of the week. So shall we do I feel like I need a little jingle that goes with this. Shall we do a Friday roundup? Even just like I need like a button, a little sound disc that goes.
Maybe that could be the next thing that we get someone to make for us sometime.
Yes, if you feel like, if you're in the creative mood, feel free to send us something if you're so inclined. But let's have a look at the week that was, and it was quite an exciting week, if I say so myself. Monday was fantastic. The Andrew Bailey saga that started last October continued.
Yep.
In which he was back in the news for technically assaulting someone, essentially putting his hands on a staffer who I think has come out that they were a graduate, so a fairly young staffer. And that kicked off a whole week of awesomeness, which was great. Gary's Economics was on the Piers Morgan show, and that was a fiery discussion. Oh, what a discussion.
So fucking good.
Some absolute gold came out of that, so I'm sure you'll see many clips from us. The best gold that came out of that was the slogan, tax work less, tax wealth more. And I have seen a little design, so keep your
excited.
Start saving your pennies if you'd like to help us out with that one. However, I did see someone misquote it. This is not their fault. I just thought it's something I'd mention. Tax work less, not tax labour less, because here in New Zealand, and it will be used probably by the left, Labour, most people kind of think of Labour Party. So technically correct, but tax work less will probably go down better than tax labour less.
Yeah.
Doesn't
sure also roll off the tongue as well either.
Tax labour less.
Like,
Tax labour less, tax work less, tax wealth more. I like it. So get that out there. I think that's a really, really strong sentiment, really strong statement, and something that we're not very good at the, what does Pat say? The pithy statements on the left, the slogans. Because we're very nuanced and very, what would you say? It's all packed in nuance and experience and,
They're the vibes. They're pithy vibes.
So we got to get in with the punchy, pithy things, even though I'm sure someone will go, a bit, and just like, nope, shut up. We know. Yeah. There's a whole lot of nuance behind it. But we need the
It also means like that when we go to protests, we have better chance, because like I've been to some protests over the last couple of years where, man, the chants weren't it. They just didn't punch or come out of the mouth right, and it was, you got to have something that is snappy.
Yep. So we're getting there. We're working on it. So thanks, Gary, for that one. There was also really interesting, I was going to say 30 minutes, Q&A. Interview as well, which is from Sunday, which is worth going and having a look at on school lunches, the saga that continues, and so it should. And then Tuesday we had David Seymour being just a dick.
Facts.
I'm done with this bitch. Like, I'm so just can't be bothered with him. Anyways, Luxon makes an absolute fool of himself on Mike Hoskins. Hoskins? It's an S on the end, right? Hoskins.
Yeah, Mike Hoskins. Yeah, I don't know.
Mike Hoskins' show with the strangest interaction, and one that has been absolutely blown up by the media, thank God, because it's worth it.
Yeah.
I looked at our video, and the clip that Pat made from that, it's getting like 12,000 views. So we broke that, bro. We broke that.
It's going crazy. I just remember watching it thinking, what the fuck? Although as I was watching it, do you know what I said to my flatmate? I was like, he's trying his best, but he's doing his worst.
Yeah. It was just the weirdest thing.
It's just
I hope someone makes a
painful.
parody of it, but you
I
honestly
think
don't
that
need
was
to.
the parody though. Like, how do you make it worse? It's cringy enough as it is.
Oh, so good, so good. And then we had it's just continual weird shit with Trump. That whole thing is just, if you're not up to date with Trump news, it's the same. It's exactly what you expect is going on. It's just shit
it's
after
not the
shit.
same. It's getting worse. It just gets worse and worse, technically.
Well, it gets worse and worse because I think it's stacking, is what I guess I'm seeing. It's just shit on top of shit and top of shit. You know, it's a portaloo. No, wait, hang on, that's not true. It's a long drop. It's a long drop, and the hole just keeps getting bigger.
Yeesh.
Endless long drop of shit coming out of America. Those poor guys. Wednesday we had Craig Rennie join us and talking about the police. I say police stats. Police stats. They cooked numbers from the police minister.
Data.
And, data, which his top tip from that whole interview, and the thing that I'll take away, go to the footnotes first. Start at the footnotes. Because there's a lot of people that would have just probably read most of it and then got into the footnotes and probably not actually read it and ignored it.
For
but if you went to the footnotes first, that was just great. It's great. It's great.
That's right. We've got some of that later, to be honest. I've been going through documents and looking at all the fine prints of things. So we're taking his advice today.
I like it. I like it. And then I believe the school lunches continues. Just fucking school lunches.
Yeah.
And I had some and I think today's one was from the household statistician was, I think it's cottage pie. It's about a 6 out of 10, which is not great, but it's not bad either. It's better than some of the ones.
I mean, it's middle of the road.
He said the mince was kind of like really bad pie mince. So that's not really great review, if I'm honest. And he was very questionable about what it was when he first saw it. So,
yeesh.
Make of that what you will. Make of that what you will.
Also, just want to point out that this is not true. It is not above average. Statistically, because you don't count 0, it starts at 1. That's just something that I learned through my time at uni. So please do not be fooled to think that that is actually better than average. That is exactly average. Sorry, just had to.
Thank you for clarifying. Average. Exactly. And then Thursday we had Paula Penfold join us, and I was on the show. I got called in. I don't know what Chewie's up to, but apparently there's something happening.
Well, he's not coming to say hi to me, so I don't know what the fuck he's up to here.
Disgusting. Chewie.
Bad.
Paula Penfold joined us for the talking about some, not leaks, I think it was some information that had been provided about the COVID inquiry and why there were 3 senior staff that had, just saying that 3 senior staff of the commission, COVID inquiry commission, have resigned, which is not good news, and some interesting things that might unfold. So we're keeping our eyes open for that, and we might see her back on the show, which would be great.
Well, I mean, there's people resigning from their jobs fucking every single day at this point, almost.
Oh yes, yep, keeps coming. And the second one there from last night as well, which was McAnulty and Bishop talking about the citizens arrest warrant, the citizens warrant, no, citizens arrest powers possibly changing to enable people to hold kids in their freezer for taking a Snickers bar.
Yeah, that's just so fucking.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
Oh, and I think the thing that bothers me the most is that I feel like everyone's kind of focusing on the fact that it's like, oh, they want us to like act as police, but what they're doing is they're addressing the symptom of a big issue. Why are these people doing this? Why has this been increasing in kind of almost the same rate as the cost of living has become harder and harder? Like maybe actually treat the issue, not symptoms of it, that also then feeds into helping corporations again, because fuck them.
Yeah. And my sentiment is personal safety, people over property. If you see that sort of stuff happening, you're best just to. It's stuff. It's stuff.
Yeah.
If
Well,
no one's
they've
in
got
harm's
less police
way,
officers. They just want us to fill in. It's like the self-serve checkouts. They just want us to keep doing these things. And they go, oh, no, you guys should do it. No, how about our police actually have the people they need and we incentivize them to stay? Yeah. Not fucking tell everyone else they can go and arrest people.
Yeah, so some pretty interesting stuff coming out of that, which I hope it's a bit of a nothing story and it goes nowhere, but with this government, they just seem to be throwing everything at the wall and seeing what will stick, or it's a bit of a hey, look over here. This is something different. Don't look over there. Look over here. We didn't cook the police numbers. Just go over here. Yeah.
Assholes.
Yeah. So that was the week that was. Did you want me to throw up these other two little articles? They have also perhaps been missed.
Oh, I mean, we can. I mean, if you want to, but they'll mostly just because one of them is actually that the farm chief executive has resigned. So that little joke I was making was in reference to yet another. This was today as well. Mm-hmm. Another resignation. Yeah, and I believe someone was commenting that now we might actually have no one. Like there's like all the positions in that kind of area are now empty and looking for people. So. Cool, good job, National. You fucking did it. That's all on you.
Yeah, so it's not looking good for our high level people, and a lot of especially health, and this is another woman, which goes in line with what we talked about. I think we talked about it last week with all the women and minorities have been pretty much gutted from the top. What do you call it? Top board.
Yeah, high up positions.
High up positions in Health NZ. So, not looking good, especially if it's another woman that stood down. And a very, very, high praise for her as well. It's not like she wasn't doing a good job. So, you know.
Just a bit of a blow coming all on the back of all these other resignations.
Yes. Yeah, so let's see. Let's see how that goes. And the other next, guys? One, yeah, the other one that you put in there, which more than 30 bags of cyanide found on the Bay of Plenty Beach. That's a strange one.
I know, and I just thought that this is more just one that I thought we could kind of quickly touch on at the beginning, because obviously if anyone is in the area, I think it's in Opotiki, so if you're around the Opotiki region, 30 bags of poison, cyanide was found, and that's pretty crazy. I don't even really have words. Like, I wasn't expecting to read that on a Friday.
So it's just the bags, right?
I believe there was. I think there was actually things in them, because it says that they had to be disposed in accordance with manufacturing instructions, because they found 15 of them, but then they actually sent iwi and people actually went out and started searching for them, and that's when they found even more. So that also means there maybe could be some more lying around, so it's definitely something to bear in mind if you're in that area around the beach. Just avoid cyanide poisoning.
Yeah, if inhaled, it could lead to a coma with seizures, apnea, and cardiac arrest, with death following in a matter of seconds. So please stay away if you're in the area.
Not good.
Yeah, that's kind of shit.
Yeah, and it's not good for. I mean, our Earth is already struggling. Now we're putting cyanide in the water. Good job, guys.
So yeah. Not so great stuff. I can't believe it.
No, I know.
This is the world that we live in.
Yeah.
And also, before we go any further, Flying Kiwi first, $2. Props boy says attendance.
Hell
fee.
Yeah.
I like attendance fee.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I wish I had
turn up, man.
I should have grabbed. I still have the What Now booklet that you used to sign up and get as a kid.
The brown one.
Yeah, that you folded out and it had a magnet and had the note. I got that. It's somewhere in my room.
I had that.
I've still got it. Maybe we'll have to put it on next week. I know it's probably in this box over here. So cool.
fun things in the closet. Well, that's the closet and the keepsakes box. The fun things in the closet.
No, my grandmother called it a glory box, which I don't know if I fucking like that one either. No. So yeah.
No, we're not calling it that. That's terrible.
No, let's not do that.
Our big missed news from the week was something that Magenta has requested, which I think is one that we do need to cover. And I'll let you introduce this because obviously this is something you're a bit more over than I am, and it's in your area, your home.
Yep.
Hometown, home area.
Back from Maido here. Obviously, I am Te Aroa, so you know, we cousins. Yeah, obviously, this I only just really actually learned about this maybe a couple of days before the police went in and did the arrests. So for me, I was actually quite surprised to learn that this has actually been going on for quite some time. I reckon we'll start the video though and kind of just go through. I might get you to pause at certain points if I need to.
Yeah. So for those, this is a bit of a headline 3 days later, but Lake Rotokākahi, did I get that right? Rotokākahi.
Yes,
yep. Judge orders pause to sewerage works as hearing set. They're looking to put a sewage pipe through sacred lands where many are buried from the eruption that happened. Which one is it?
Well, yeah, there's actually quite a few historical like tūpuna who are buried in that area. There's obviously the Tarawera eruptions, one of the big ones.
1886.
There's also a lot of notable like what do you call them? Battles. Just trying to think of the English word for battles and other historical events have happened in the area as well. So like, you know, there's a lot of significance in the area. And like growing up, we were never allowed to swim in what is often called Green Lake. People might have heard of Blue Lake and Green Lake. Green Lake is Lake Rotokākahi. So
we'll have a listen to this and get some thoughts from Magenta.
Which runs alongside Lake Rotokākahi. One News reporter, Jordan Rudd, has been on the ground.
Tensions flaring in the middle of the night. Police moving in to secure this worksite as protesters make a stand for their sacred Lake Rotokākahi. Waiata ringing out, officers forming a human wall. While cars blocking the site were moved peacefully, 7 people were arrested, later trespassed and released without charge.
So the people concerned that were arrested were inside the worksite area and they chose not to move on.
The police have now created a wide gap between our relationship that we have with them and the Rotorua Lakes Council because we don't have any trust for anything that they say.
Mana whenua fear the project could cause harm to the lake and a sacred area where their tūpuna or ancestors lie.
Is that a good place to start?
Yep. So like just to give a bit of clarity, so there was a song that you could hear this that people were singing referencing a person called Rua Kenana, who was someone from actually my other rohe on my other side of my family, up in the Uruweras, that they were a community that lived up there and had unfortunately horrible things happen, and you know their settlement was basically, you know, police came in, did what they love to do to Maori who are trying to just sit in their whenua. And yeah, so that's obviously one of the reasons why they're singing that. Also, they mentioned that like they had, I think actually it was a little bit, I can't quite remember exactly what he said, but basically these people have actually been here since like August. Also, the police officer, I've got a little video for us to watch later. He said that they were in an area where they weren't supposed to be, which we'll actually find out is not true. Because, surprise, surprise, the police fucking lied.
This is a quite short video, so I can keep...
we'll keep going, and then we've got a bunch of other stuff to look at.
$29 million project will see pipes laid parallel to Rotokākahi, and several protests have taken place since construction began in April 2023. But the council says it has been engaging with local hapu and iwi. Work's been paused for more than a year. The overall cost of delays, more than $2 million.
It's a figure that I'm really not happy about. This is a cost that ultimately the public pay, and my job is to make sure the public money is spent wisely.
We support the sewer line not through this area. We've also offered an in-catchment treatment where our iwi offered up some land that we own.
Today, drilling work resumed and protest from the other side of the road was peaceful. But this dispute is far from over. Rotokākahi Board of Control has filed against the council in the Environment Court.
Our people have always been here. We are here. We're not leaving.
The work's expected to take 4 weeks and will remain under heavy scrutiny. Jordan Rudd, One News.
It's pretty sad that they've offered land for this and it's been rejected. Do you know why they've rejected it?
Not on that specific point. But what I find really frustrating is, so I went back and I started doing some looking into, because I obviously didn't hear about this. And like my first note, I'm really disappointed that I don't know about this until recently. Like we should have been aware of these things. I found some articles from last year, but they didn't even come up on my radar. And I have a pretty tight algorithm that knows I love every bit of political news that comes out. So it was kind of disappointing to see that this has been happening for a while, in terms of they've been fighting this since August in terms of occupation, which, if it looks familiar, this may look kind of similar to Ihumatao, which was another occupation that mana whenua had to do to protect their land. But when I looked back into it, it turns out that they started this kōrero back in 2015. The issue is, so you saw there was that speaker who was a representative of the Rotokākahi Board of, my brain's just forgotten the C. I wrote down that
Rotokākahi Board of Control.
Control, that's the one. So they started discussions in 2015. They only started engaging with that board in 2023. After they had already chosen which option out of the different options that were proposed was going to be. So that board should have been included in the consultation from the beginning and was not. So I didn't really appreciate that the person who came on to go, the tax, we're worried about how much money it's going to cost, acting like, they're just wasting your money. Well, maybe you wasted your money because you actually didn't do the consultation process properly. They are the ones who have they have the deciding rights over what happens, because they are made up of the tūrohe that have ownership of that lake. And so that just from the beginning was frustrating. They also, because they had put down in 2016 6 options that they put up for consultation, not with the board, which was 5 years before they were included. Not to mention the fact that, just from a treaty principles standing, this is not the way to go or the way to do it. And there's a few things that I found that I went through the document. So there was 3 PDFs that were done over multiple years. 2 was a cultural impact assessment, and 1 was an archaeological assessment. And I will just quickly find where. So I've got a lot of actually, you know what? I'm going to go through and I'm going to share my screen and tabs with everyone, because we've got a lot to look at tonight, whānau. So we're just going to go, window. We'll go for that one. And Ems, if you could just pop me up on the thing.
Yeah, you're on screen.
Cool. So just for a small little bit of backstory. Obviously, I am from the Te Arawa region. So this is actually the whakapapa of, what am I doing? This is a whakapapa of these people. So the 2 that are kind of the owners are Tūhaurangi and Rangitahi. And over here is my whānau in Ngāti Pakeao. So that's one part of how we kind of connect to each other, because as you can see here, Ngāti Pakeao are at the eastern side of Lake Rotoiti and Tūhaurangi are at the western. So Church of the Kazis. And as you can see here, this board of control, the people who were not consulted. In these documents, you've got a lot of thing. One I found really, really interesting in the archaeological thing, constraints and limitations. This is an assessment of archaeological values and does not include an assessment of Māori values. So already the archaeological value is strictly a Western archaeological value, which I find kind of disgusting. We also have here that in this report, they identified 12 sites that were in 500 meters of land affected by this scheme. And of the 12 sites, 7 were assessed to be not affected, whereas the remaining 5 were basically at risk. And here we see the things that are at risk are pa sites and settlements, kainga sites, which is quite concerning given how important those sites are to history, especially for Māori, as that those are literally our villages and all that. And here they go in and talk about basically that this Karikari Peninsula and surrounding area potentially encompasses a nationally significant archaeological landscape preserved beneath the Rotomahana mud. And yet they still decided that they were just going to go ahead with this, despite the fact that even their own archaeological assessment says it right here. Y'all can read it, y'all can see it, and the audio listeners just heard me read it out. They also recommended that there should be basically consultation with the New Zealand Heritage so that they could kind of make assessments on, you know, what kind of damage would be possible. And I didn't quite get through to see if they actually followed through on these recommendations, but we know they often don't follow recommendations. And one thing I also thought that is a little bit interesting that I'd just like for people to learn about, I think, here. So for Māori, this is kind of how they approached and viewed the relationship that these different entities have towards this lake. So while they had this, I don't see the board of control, which was quite concerning, since they should have been on that circle. We also have some really poignant statements here that I'll just read a couple of lines from. And it says, all the fresh water within the Te Arawa boundary belongs to Te Arawa emphatically. Te Arawa owns it, but we all need it. Pākehā ownership of natural resources is to turn it into a saleable commodity. Māori take care of it and pass it on to the younger generations. And that's a lot of what they then go into talk about how because of Māori's relationship to water, this is something that should be considered very heavily, because it is literally a part of our life force. I mean, we've all heard the, joke of, oh, you're 70% water, And then the last thing I wanted to wrong one, is also go into is, for anyone who's not aware, Māori actually have names for different forms of water, showing again the relationship that we have to water. Waiora, which is water in its purest form. Waipuna, spring water. Waiwhakaika, ritual waters, pools or ceremonial. Waimaori, which is just fresh water that you just drink. Waimate, water that has lost mauri, is degraded and is no longer able to sustain life. And that waimate is what that the people who are at the occupation are trying to prevent. Because when these pipes go in, a lot of the time, sewage water leaks out. That groundwater then leaks out into the rest of the ground, and these pipes are only supposed to be 17 meters from the lake at one point. which is far too close to say that it's definitely not going to go into the lake, which is already a big no-no. But I do implore everyone to look into more of this, actually learn about the whakapapa of water. There is a whole whakapapa of water. I think I had an image, but I seem to have lost it. But yeah, look into it. I really, really recommend it. Sorry. Oop,
Whoa. There's 100 of us.
And I will, though, now just quickly we'll go and I will share a video from the group, Protect Rotokākahi themselves, because I know people. I know that people are probably wanting to know what they can do to help.
Yes,
and so let's hear from mana whenua on what they would like for us to do, I reckon. Is this one?
To show the police presence here, only to show that the colonial system of dealing with what is happening on Māori whenua, wāhi tapu, and Māori moana and awa no longer has a place here in Aotearoa. In fact, it never did. So look and feel, but remember who we are. Protect Rotokākahi isn't about the presence of the police. Their presence is predictable, it's expected, because colonisation needs a violent arm to enforce its laws. Otherwise, Māori would be left in peace to exist and be with our taiao, the way we have been doing since August. What they did here by arresting 8 of our tangata whenua and tangata tiriti is paru. But it's not surprising. Arrest, force and violence was the only way Pākehā laws were ever able to force their way onto this land. Now is the time for change. This is Toitu Te Tiriti. Nowhere in he whakapūtanga, nor Te Tiriti or Waitangi is the Crown afforded the right to exist as a power which governs over us, over Māori lives. Let alone that rips us off the land that we whakapapa to. We are sovereign people, and we must restore this sovereignty in our every footstep. By being Māori, our resistance is the world of our tūpuna, returning and thriving again through us. Tangata whenua, tangata moana, tangata tiriti. Let's not lose sight of what we are creating that lives far beyond police violence and laws written by the disconnected heart. Mana mo te hake and tino ranga tiratanga. It lives in all of us. Enact it, activate it, amplify it.
And obviously, although there is now the 3-week pause, they're still obviously going to be needing people to turn up and do shift work when things go back to it. I know they have a link tree to support them for the people that have been, living on the whenua trying to protect it. Obviously, go and follow them. I don't believe they're on YouTube, but they are on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So definitely go and follow them. But yeah, it's just awesome to see them doing this and, standing up for it and being the ones who are putting themselves, at risk, because we saw that there was 100 police officers for a peaceful encampment of people, which is just really disgusting and disheartening, to be honest. And it's irritating that these things continue to happen because they go through these so-called consultation processes, but they pick who they want to pick out of it. They don't actually give people the time or even put it in spaces for people to be that aware of it. It's difficult because they make it difficult on purpose, and those people shouldn't have to be doing that. We shouldn't have to be arguing hey, please keep the shit pipe away from this beautiful, beautiful lake. It just frustrates me that people don't see that our health is intrinsically linked with our Earth's health, and the Earth is not healthy right now, and neither are we. And it's just frustrating that we have to sit here and go, oh, they're just doing that, and they're framing these people in ways that makes it come across like they're costing taxpayers money, like they're just being angry Marys who just want everything. And it's frustrating that mana whenua are usually the ones who are trying their hardest to stop things that are going to be harmful for all of us. So I really feel for them, and I'm stoked that they've been able to do it. And, you know, a lot of people have obviously been thinking about matatini in terms of Māori, you know, the Māori world at the moment. But like, this is like he said, this is where toitu te tiriti happens, is when you go to those. So like, if you're in the area, if you are able to make it, even if you're an ally, you don't have to be mana whenua. You can be tangata tiriti or tangata whenua. It doesn't matter. Just go and support them if you can. That would be really awesome, because they've already managed to get away with so much already. Like, this started 10 years ago, and we're only finding out really in the last few weeks, like, the actual effects of what is happening, despite all these so-called, you know, documents that they've consulted people on. Yeah. I also there's one last thing. I will put the link in the chat if I can, or I'll send it to Kiwi Scoot if it doesn't fit. But there's a really good phrasing. There's a really good interview with Dale Husband. But I think it's by Dale, or was it by Dale Hudson? Husband, not 100% sure, but it is with the spokesperson from Rotokākahi, and it's a really good like 8 minutes to listen to, and kind of, if you want to know more, I recommend going and listening to that on our good friends Wātea News.
Absolutely. Something that you just mentioned before about all of the consultation and research that they'd done. That is it occurred to me that that's the bureaucracy that Seymour wants to get rid of, all that red tape that he wants to get rid of. And I was thinking about it, the timeline, right? 2015 is a starting point, and all of that consultation, all those people that did all the research and the recommendations, only for them to be ignored. And then they meet this, and they're surprised, and it's wasting tax. Well, it is. It's wasting taxpayer money if it's costing them $2 million. But they
it's
could
not
have
their
prevented
fault.
it.
Yeah.
No, exactly. They could have prevented that if they had just listened and actually taken some time. And we have examples of this with Kira McAnulty working on the housing project over on the other side of the island. You know, actually working with iwi. And it did take a number of years. I think it was something like 7 or 8 years. It did take a number of years, but actually what they were able to do is waste less money because they did all that consultation. They actually listened to it. They followed the recommendations. They talked to iwi. They talked to the locals, and they actually made a plan that worked for locals. And now they're not going to waste money because they're not going to get protested. Like, this whole idea of Māori just being there to protest everything. But they get put in that position. And actually, like he was saying, they're forced into that position, but they actually had a plan that they offered, but it was ignored.
Well, and that has happened
so often
time and time again. Because, like, if you go right the fuck back, when it came to schools, they made Māori build schools on their land and give them to the Crown in order to have schooling. Around when the Schools Act was enacted, and that's a whole other fucking nightmare of a bill that was back from the 1800s. But this is just a repeating cycle of the same fucking shit. And like, I've been involved, like I was involved with consultation for fucking Te Pūkenga and things like that, and it's always the same. They always give you this tiny amount of time to try and like argue huge fucking things within maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks sometimes. Like, it's insane. But the thing is, they do it on purpose because they know that if they just push it through and you don't get the time to go, then they can go, oh, well, I gave you a chance. It's like, no, the fuck you didn't. You made it look like you gave us a chance, and you really did nothing to help. You just knew what you wanted to do, and you did it anyway. You just made it look like you asked for an opinion that you were going to actually consider. Definitely not.
Yeah.
And it's just, it happens everywhere all the time. And it's just frustrating because it doesn't just happen on Māori things. It happens on every fucking thing. Like, it's really frustrating. But like you said, the Kieran stuff, that's what frustrates me, is they don't want to invest in that little bit of extra time now is going to have major payoff later. It's always, what can we do fastest now, because we live in the capitalism fucking machine, blah, blah, blah.
And if they actually thought about it and listened to people who are experts, I feel bad for those who are experts in their field, who actually offer this stuff, who take the time to write all those documents and to write out the recommendations. They must feel like absolute dog shit every time they get ignored.
Well, yeah, it's like,
and
what the fuck do you spend that time?
They know they have to, but they know they have to do it, because the one time that perhaps it does actually not get ignored, it'll make them feel great. But that's not the point. It's not to make them feel great. It's to actually listen to them and do the work. Like, it really, I'm getting more and more wise to this, where it's like, Māori don't want to just stop everything. They actually just want to say things, and they want to be talked with and find solutions which work. They're not dumb. They're not going, we don't need sewage solutions. It's not important. Modern infrastructure isn't important. They're not saying that. They're just saying, can we do it in a way that actually respects our rights?
And that has been a problem for a long time. Like, even what you just brought up, we literally covered that in my Māori politics paper, and I think it was one of my resource management papers as well. Like, there are so many things where they make out that Māori are all big bad, when it's just the way that we want to put value into the land is different. Like, a lot of the times when they're like, oh, they're trying to stop this development. Yeah, it's because they want to maybe invest in making that area like a natural green space to either help combat climate, or, I don't know. There's actually, Māori are there's a Māori company who grow hemp and cannabis. And it's a huge, like, there are Māori who are at the forefront of some of, leading, like, industries, and they're using their whenua for that. It's because the way that we do it is different, and the value that we see in it is different. But because it's different to what they think is valuable, that's where they try to turn it around and make Māori look like these bad guys.
It's this real white way of seeing things, right? Of like, oh, land's nothing more than to exploit, and indigenous people have no value in this. They're just dumb.
Yeah, because they don't want to pump out the economic value. They clearly don't understand because they're not smart enough.
But if we'd actually listened to them on so many occasions, we wouldn't have things like, hey, let's build houses on floodplains.
Yep.
Oh, look, now there's liquefaction when there was a giant earthquake, because you built houses on floodplains. And now we have these weird, desolate streets in Christchurch where they can't build anything on them. It's fantastic now because they're actually being used as wet plains, and we need green spaces to stop what they call it, the concrete drought spaces, right? Where there's nowhere for the water to be seeped into the land. You end up with floods everywhere.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But
it's almost like nature knew. It's like nature knew what it needed, and we went, nah, actually, that's not convenient for me. I'm gonna do this anyway.
And then look what happened. We ended up paying the costs anyway. And innocent people suffered because of it. So, yeah. Sad times, but thank you for sharing.
That's a really good point from DIY Guru, is that New Zealand's right wing see Māori tikanga as socialism. Because, I mean, yeah, you know what? Tikanga is pretty woke. It is pretty woke. And you know what? I don't care. Because it's almost like it's a better fucking system. Because it's human focused. But
it's future first. It's future focused. It's smarter in so many different ways. And yeah, the fast track system is fucked. But,
and also, actually, this last point here by Jen has ADHD is a theory about the fact that if they put the pipe through the land, that they could claim ownership of it. Same thing they did to my hapu when with Tukunui, and they want us to buy back at market price. And that is a really good point. They love to just get a little bit closer, like, you know, when your dog's like going up to your plate and it just starts getting real, like, can I? Huh? Yeah, it's that.
Nope. Told off.
Do we want a little meme break in between?
Yeah, we do.
Well, this one's not a major meme first, but here's a peace plan. Get the fuck out of our country. And I agree. And for the audio listeners, that is a picture of Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president. Yes, president. I can never remember who has presidents and who has prime ministers at times.
Who has a monarchy? Who doesn't?
The bro who was the actor. Elon can oligargle these nuts and heck fascism. These cute little signs on some doggies. And obviously for our audio listeners, I highly recommend you come to the show and look at these memes. They're pretty sick. Corporate needs you to find the difference between this picture and this picture. Elon's son in a bulletproof vest. They are the same picture. Also,
because he uses his son as a bodyguard or a shield. No, someone said something else. He uses him as something else. He's basically a play.
Well, this is what Uncle Chewie posted. So this was Uncle Chewie's meme from the Discord. Are you a spineless Nazi? Invest in Musk's security systems today. Easy, lightweight, portable. On sale now. Do as many Nazi salutes as you want. You can just make more. Infinite supply. Brought to you by the genius behind fascist social media and shit cars. Elmo says it's okay to punch Nazis. Street art. I mean, I might have placed those on purpose. A little bit. For the audio listeners, it's a picture of Elon doing the Nazi salute with that and puppet strings on Trump, which I love the little nose, Pinocchio nose they've added there. Good detail.
Is that it looks like a Banksy, but is it actually?
It does. I don't know if it is. This was just posted in our Discord, so I thought it looked like a Banksy, but I'm not 100% sure. Definitely in the Banksy style though. And then this was actually spotted in the UK. Goes to 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Tesla, the swastika.
Oh, poor Tesla's getting absolutely lumped into this bullshit.
But listen to your heart. Turn billionaires into compost. I mean, also this, when you said something earlier about women getting taken out of positions of power, I was like, oh, this
women
means
in minorities.
Yeah, only 2 people were fired from the Joint Chief of Staff. Can you guess who? I mean, I don't think it takes more than one guess to figure it out. It's definitely those guys by there, right? Right? No?
The 2 old guys that were wearing the grey.
Yeah, they're getting retired.
They're
right.
They're the DEI hires, right? We need the old people in there. We got to make sure we're inclusive. We got to include the old people.
Right? And then we've got Destiny Church members arriving at the Pride Parade. Now I'm angry and erect. Because they're closeted AF.
Closet gays? Yeah.
Yeah.
Closet gays.
Anyway, we will save some more memes for later.
Nice. Well, on my list of things was either Seymour's response to school lunches. But
my favorite person.
I'm kind of over it, you know?
I mean, that's the thing is he just... And that's the worst part is he's going to become even more prominent in things soon anyway.
Like,
so it's not like we can get rid of him.
However, there is a story that I do want to cover which we haven't really talked about, and this is definitely going to put me on the list of people that aren't allowed to enter a certain country.
I'm all for getting
what we know about the Chinese vessels conducting military exercises in the Tasman Sea.
So let's piss off China.
I've had a discussion with someone who may know something. Actually, no, they don't know anything. They only know what the public knows. But they had an interesting insight. So recently, over in one of the military bases here in New Zealand, like there's one in Waiouru, there's one in Burnham, I think there's one in Tekapo as well. Some Chinese tourists have been, well, I assume they're Chinese tourists, have been taking photos of the bases. Just standing outside the fence and just taking photos. Getting some selfies with the military bases around New Zealand. It's a really strange thing to be doing, isn't it?
I don't know. I take photos of everything.
Photos?
I don't know what's weird when it comes to taking photos, to be honest. 'Cause I literally took photos of the Waiouru museum and printed them out and put them on my books as a child. So I had pictures of like war syringes and like that kind of stuff on my school books. I don't think I'm the best one to judge that.
But it does seem a little bit strange because most recently, some Chinese naval vessels have just popped up in the Tasman Sea.
I did hear about that.
No one knows why they're there and have started conducting military exercises such as firing off some missiles. And because of their presence and not really knowing why they're there, there's been a lot of domestic flights that have been rerouted between New Zealand and Australia. Just for safety. This, from someone I was talking to who's a bit more knowledgeable about this sort of stuff, this just happens to coincide with Trump having more and more of a presence. Well, sorry, not more of a presence. Trump having a lot more influence around the world and his anti-Chinese rhetoric. You may or may not know this, but here in New Zealand we do actually host quite a few American troops. They come over, the Yankees. They actually come over here and they do a lot of exercises with us because we have really great terrain for it. Just something a little bit different to what they have in the US, a lot of wetlands and things like that. And they'll often join us over in Australia for exercises. They'll also join us over in some places in Southeast Asia where we do a lot of peacekeeping and stuff like that. Yeah, so they come over here quite frequently. However, with Trump's anti-China rhetoric and his anti-everyone at the moment, and his very, very quick shift over to the Russia, North Korea.
I was going to say, he's not anti-everyone.
Camp.
He's very pro-Russia and North Korea.
Pro-Russia and pro-North Korea. It means that our little country over here has perhaps put itself in, well, not put itself, America's put us in a little bit of an awkward situation in which we're perhaps a little bit more defenseless because perhaps we won't have the Americans coming to our aid if something were to happen. And we constantly toe a line because with our relationship between America and the West and China and a few other Asian countries as well, constantly towing a line to make sure that economically we're sound because we ship and export and import a lot to China. A lot of our high quality goods, our milk, honey, and meat products. We're a big exporter, big export country. We rely on our exports, and we rely on China economically, which, you know, you got to toe the line. They are an important business partner for us, an important economic partner for us. However, as we've seen, China has had a lot of interest in the South Pacific. We have a lot of interest in the South Pacific in order to keep them economically stable. They're a great tourism partner. They're also quite, what would you call it? They're very volatile. They're vulnerable to, and not volatile. They're vulnerable to environmental changes as well, right? Climate change, that sort of thing. So they need a lot of our help. However, China likes to have their fingers in a lot of pies, even including Africa. They like to offer a lot of loans and things to help grow places in a lot of third world countries and things like that, which basically put those countries in the pockets of China, because now they have a little bit over their heads of like, you now owe us money because we helped you economically develop and, you know, continue to grow. So the thought here is that China has positioned themselves between ourselves and Australia to say, hey, yeah, they love helping. We're here. We exist. Don't get too cocky, is the theory. Mm-hmm. So their presence, and they're taking photos of our military bases, and it's we've seen some weird shit from China in our country. They're here. So So worth keeping an eye on. And I'd hate to be Winston right now, who's trying to keep them happy while also going, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, don't make me think about the fact that he's and I just. I mean, the whole world's fucking on fire at the moment, and it's just gonna keep getting worse. Yay!
And then there's also been, and I'm not so across this, there's also been speculation that they also have nuclear subs in our waters as well. My understanding, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, nuclear subs do not mean nuclear warhead subs. I could be entirely wrong there, but nuclear powered subs. But I don't know what our what do you call it? Our rainbow treaty, our non-nuclear treaty. Our non-nuclear stance. I can't remember what it's called. There is a name.
There's so many ones. I'm sure someone on the
I assume that that's part of why they shouldn't be in our waters. So I'm not freaking out there's nuclear subs in our waters. It's more so the well-known fact that we are nuclear free, and I assume a lot of our ocean around us is also supposed to be nuclear free. So
because I know that I also heard a story about how New Zealand was annoyed that the Cook Islands didn't consult us before going into a partnership deal with China. So that happened a few weeks ago. Because that's also the other thing I saw that was part of the other issues that they're worried about is that China's like, hey, Pacific bros, we're going to be cooler friends than you.
Yeah, and that some of that is to do with our poor handling of foreign affairs and not taking up that meeting in the Cook Islands, but that's on you, Winnie. I don't know what that relationship was clearly strange, but it does show that China they're big players. They are definitely here to say, we're here. Don't fuck with us. And especially with the US kind of eating themselves at the moment and not being particularly friendly with a lot of their former foreign allies, I guess. It does leave us in a bit of a tricky spot, and we are quite vulnerable here in the Pacific, unfortunately. So, yeah, the very interesting thing that I learned was that there's some tourists taking photos of our military bases, and because they're on public land, there's nothing that we can do about it. But that's a very strange thing to be taking photos of.
Yeah.
All things.
Again, I have no idea. I'm not the judge on that one. Everyone else in the chat said it was weird, so I'm going to agree with you guys because I'm fucking weird.
Pretty. No. You're not weird for taking photos.
I could be a spy. You don't know. You don't know me like that. I could be a spy. You don't know me like that.
It's coincidental. It's coincidental that at the same time that we're having a lot of interesting happenings with China, that there are tourists.
There's a lot of coincidences happening at the moment.
Taking photos. So something that hasn't really been talked about. It's kind of a weird one, but I had some interesting and not insight, but some information. Not information. An interesting chat that I've had with someone who's a little bit more of this sort of stuff. Which I thought was worth sharing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Let's get these couple of super chats out of the way. Did you want to talk about the Nintendo story as well after this?
Oh, unless you've got something more exciting.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so Kaimatara for $5. Citizens arrest for theft is allowed. Starts arresting colonizers for stealing our land. /JK. Or not. I mean, what? And Kiwi Bird for $2. Stop putting shit in the lakes. Abso-fucking-lutely. Keep the caca out of Lake Rotokākahi. Although saying lake is redundant. I don't know why I just did that. That was some Pākehā programming that just kind of came back into my brain. I have a small little video that we could have a quick look at for a minute or so that I thought might just kind of be relevant in contrast to old Nintendo, if you like, just to kind of ease us in. Since Talking about
Please.
Nintendo DS is just my favorite thing in the bloody world.
Yeah, just never ends. But hey,
So,
gotta spotlight it. Keep it in the
thought,
public eye.
why not, when I see where I am, have a quick look at this video that I watched like 4 years ago. So it is 4 years ago, so I will give credit that things might have changed ever so slightly. Let's just watch like a minute or so.
French students can expect up to a 4-course meal at lunch. They begin with a salad, a fresh veg, followed by quality protein like salmon with a side of roasted broccoli. They wouldn't be French without a course of soft cheeses, jam, and fresh bread. And kids finish with a sweet confection like marzipan before heading back to class. And kids aren't served healthy meals, they serve them. To teach healthy cooking, kids take turns helping to cook, serve, and clean up for their peers. Meals are heavy on
cooking and cleaning and serving food for your peers. That's some woke skills right there, guys.
Oh yeah, they're so independent by the time they get to 5 years old. It's great. Love to see
rice, vegetables, and fish. Students in Nigeria are fed well-balanced meals each day. Meals could include smoky, tomatoey jollof rice with chicken and steamed veg. Finland was the first country in the world to provide free lunch to every student, and the law ensures high nutrition standards. Veggies like beetroot salad and roasted turnips take up at least half the plate. Starches and grains such as a crepe cup.
And so we might notice that she said that they were the first ones to implement the school lunches, and they have very strict guidelines on what is considered a nutritious lunch. And especially that percentage about vegetables. From everything I've seen of the so-called lunches that our kids are getting, it's not even close to meeting even these requirements for nutrition at all.
A slightly tart lingonberry jam take up 1/4, and a protein such as haranuko, a split pea soup topped with smoked ham, takes up the other. Crisp bread is served on the side. In South Korea, students eat off steel trays sectioned out for perfect portion sizes. The bigger section is for rice, the circle holds soup, and the smaller portions are for tangy, spicy kimchi, some veggies, and meat like marinated strips of pork shoulder called jeokbokgung. With a large Orthodox population in Ethiopia, meals are largely plant-based. An array of foods like spicy lentils, zucchini, and yellow split pea soup called kik alicha are eaten with injera, a fermented flatbread.
And I mean, I'll be honest, that looks way better than what our kids have been getting. And this is in a place like Nigeria that I'm sure a lot of the people who vote for National Act would have you believe is like some third world country that couldn't ever afford to feed their fucking kids. Like, it's
I'll be honest,
crazy.
I agree to disagree if that looked great.
I think that looks delicious, but I've tried a lot of vegan food recently that was really fucking good. It looks ugly as shit, but it tastes amazing. You know what I mean? So like, don't knock it till you try it. It looks kind of freaky, but
I'm a visual eater, but it's
that's fair. This is Hawaii, where they had a farm to school program.
Kids in Hawaii can expect meals made from scratch with local fresh ingredients, such as a chicken stir fry with veggies and fresh baked bread on the side. Ukrainian kids get their
and so that was literally the same thing that we basically had. We had local communities, local food, making lunches for the kids. And yeah, I mean, it's a long video, so we don't need to go through all of it, but those are just
I appreciate the video. Don't get me wrong. I really appreciate the video. I think we can all agree it's a little bit of like, this is the ideal, and it's probably more of like, in different cultures, these are the things they eat. The comments on this video are quite as you can imagine, a little bit critical.
Oh yeah, I'm sure some of them aren't exactly thing, but at least there is a like. Even then, though, if that's what it looks like on the box, like wow, we had the fancy looking meals, you know, the fancy, nice looking square containers. Even if that was a little bit worse, I think it's still better.
Yeah,
and we know that Japan would be quite accurate because we know that Japan feed the kids.
Well, I mean, take all of these with a grain of salt, but there is someone that's like, I'm Japanese. I never saw such a meal. The curry and rice, absolutely. That's probably also pretty. But I bet it tastes 100 times better than the curry that we've had.
Oh yeah, the butter chicken for 11 days in a row.
Yeah. Yeah, one comment. This is the most unrealistic display of school lunches I've ever seen. It's the standard that we should be meeting. I think that's probably more so what it is. It's the standard that we should be meeting. At the very, very least, it's the standard we should be meeting.
Apparently, if you want the best hospital food, go to Japan. Good to know.
Or private hospitals. I mean, private hospitals are pretty good.
Fuck private hospitals.
Yeah. Well, that's not what they're getting.
Nope.
Unfortunately, this is. I'm pretty damn sure. Just looking at the related stories on this, it is day after day after day of the same shit. On the 27th, Seymour Responds to school lunch program controversy. On the 27th, how many days in a row can you eat this? Schools/lunch orders. That's concerning. It's worth a look at.
Yep.
On the 26th, school lunch providers boss says it's mission critical to meet KPIs. For fuck me, that's in itself as a fucking headline. 11 days of butter chicken, more problems with school lunches.
Mm-hmm.
And it keeps going on. And if we go back, the 25th, the 23rd, who says school lunches are good. A nutritionist bagged it. They were just like, this is not okay. On the 16th of February, a couple of weeks ago, Seymour hasn't done his homework. He just relies on laziness. In regards to not providing halal, providing halal-friendly meals, not halal-certified meals.
Right.
Yeah, it's shit after shit after shit. And essentially his response has been, after principals have called him out and said, this is not good enough, this is disgusting, Seymour has gone, look, there's school lunches and they're free, and we're feeding your kids. I think you need to shut up and put up. And it's like, we're not providing gourmet meals. That is his current response to things.
I'd like to see him fucking do his job eating those fucking meals every day. Maybe we should take away their food budget until they do something about it. And it's just fucked, because that's the thing is, like, these are going to have flow-on effects. There've been so much waste, and kids aren't able to learn when they're hungry. Like, this is just going to have compounding effects for God knows how long they keep this fucking thing in. And they still somehow pretend like they're good with money as well, which just baffles me.
Some schools have had food produced by Pita Pit.
Yep. I heard about the pizza.
Bread rolls. Yeah, and the pizza. We've had bread rolls with sloppy coleslaw inside, a tiny vegetarian patty, or one tiny piece of meat inside. And then there's the next day, it's the same filling, but it's a different carbohydrate. So it's it might be wrapped the next day with that same stuff, and the next day it might be pita pocket with the same stuff in it. How many days in a row can you eat this? Yesterday it was 2 bits of thick white bread with the same sloppy mixture inside. And we ring and we complain, but nobody ever gets back to us. As a society, we need to ask ourselves, is it acceptable to be producing poor quality food? Many countries in the world provide lunches for their students, but in New Zealand, there seems to be condemnation that some people don't have enough money to provide lunches. But it's routine in the UK and in Scandinavian countries for students to get school lunches. Our kids need them. It was from Leanne Webb.
Yeah, also there's typical comments going, oh, it's free food and you're going to complain about it. Mm-hmm. We're not complaining about, like, honestly, I wouldn't even care. Like, I'm sure the kids wouldn't mind if they did have multiple repeated meals, if they were actually good and nutritious for them. It's about the quality of the food. It's about what we had and what we've got now, because they decided that landlords deserve $2.9 billion fucking dollars, and kids' school lunches was apparently too much to handle and too expensive. So, like, respectfully, no. Or disrespectfully, whichever way.
And here's Seymour's fucking statement. In a statement, Associate Education Minister Nintendo DS, who is behind the revamp, said the policy wasn't about a gourmet taxpayer-funded meal. And that's not what we're fucking asking for, you dickhead. No. It's a simple nutritionist lunch. Nutritionist? Nutritious? Let's see what the nutrition recently got her hands on a meal and was very, very not convinced. To ensure hungry kids are fed, and that's what's being delivered, so he says. He said one of the benefits of the new model was that schools could manage meal numbers and dietary requirements themselves. They still need to be provided the food to do that, though, Seymour. The priority for the school lunch program must be delivering lunches to students in need at a cost affordable to the taxpayer. It's encouraging that schools are using the new portal to update details to reduce waste. So he is already getting what his fucking plan is, which is that schools don't want to order this shit because it all goes to waste, and now they're getting less and less of it, which means kids are going fucking hungry, and then the program will get continually defunded until the point where it doesn't exist because what they're providing is dog shit. Literal fucking dog shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally designed to fail. Like,
it's designed to fail.
It's just so fucking frustrating because they always do this. They like to spin it to make it out like, oh, you lefties, you're just being ungrateful. It's like, no, I just think that kids should be fed before we give tax breaks to fucking landlords. Not to mention the fact that we have a government that is considering giving extra corporate tax cuts in this year's budget.
Meanwhile, they can't afford, they have big fucking holes that they continue.
Fiscal holes coming out. They're fucking, like, there's so many fiscal holes it could be a hentai. For real. You can quote me on that.
Some aliens to go with it.
I won't make you draw that, but I'm sure if the fans really wanted to draw that, they can do it, and that's on them. But I'm just sick of this shit.
And probably one of my least favorite quotes from Nintendo DS: "A field roll is what most parents send their children to school with, and there's nothing wrong with that." I agree. There is nothing wrong with that. Some principals are doing students a disservice by teaching them that they should never be grateful for anything and complain about everything. Never be grateful for anything and complain about everything. It's a simple, nutritious lunch to ensure hungry kids are fed, and that's what's being delivered, so he says. The ministry said the numbers of lunches sent to school was previously based on the attendance patterns, but this year schools were using an online portal to order 2 weeks ahead based on attendance and dietary requirements for students each day. This allows for the number and type of meals delivered to be adjusted based on planning activities such as school trips, teachers, and only dates. I don't disagree that that's actually quite a good system. But are they actually getting the meals they ordered and on time? Sounds like they aren't. Under all iterations of the school lunch program, managing waste has been a key focus, it said. We would expect schools to adjust their information in the portal throughout the school year based on role. Outside of menu meals provided by Pitapit were not a long-term solution, the ministry said. Pitapit have stepped in to make sure students are getting a lunch every school day. Great. Capitalism at its finest. We're making the private market fucking feed our kids.
That's why they're trying to make them look like good
guys. The local
guys.
Market was fucking doing it at probably a fucking cheaper, not profit out the fucking wazoo, at a cheaper cost that was employing local people and using local produce while also using any profits they were making to feed other schools that couldn't fucking afford it. This is absolute bullshit. And now we have Bitterbit, a fucking franchise, providing school lunches.
Well, yeah, because when we had it local also, that means that money was staying in the community. That money was staying in our economy. It wasn't just getting shipped off to some fucking conglomerate. And, like, I mean, I think this is a good point from here, from TPNA. It's like, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Defund to the point of uselessness, point out how bad it is, privatize it, nepo jobs, and your corporate mates. And it's just the neoliberal 101. Because we have to keep saying it time and time again. They're trying to make the problem in the wrong area. It's infuriating. Should we look at memes just because I'm annoyed now?
Yeah.
Let's
Fuck you, Nintendo is.
Well, I mean, sorry, the first meme is... It's alright, we're not going to end with these guys. I promise. It's just what I would say to you. What I would say to you is... Boomers, when you call our country Aotearoa. I love that so much. This isn't a meme, it's just Chloe being extremely relatable. I mean, it could actually be a meme if I reckon people could make this into a meme format too, so maybe we'll see if anyone uses it and makes some memes for us later. Because I feel like we could probably reuse this image for a meme format probably for the rest of the year at least, or at least the rest of this coalition.
Can I go back? Hang on, I've got it.
Got it. What do you got?
This fucking cunt again.
Yep.
Why do you fucking think Are you insane? Finally, why do I fucking do this job? Chloe, I've quoted you perfectly. I'm sure of it.
She's just trying to remind herself of the people and what she's here for.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the last one. It's like, just remember the people. Just remember the people. Just remember the people.
Remember the kaupapa. It's all good. It's all good. And then we have some BHN community-made memes. These are all memes I have checked were made by our community. This one, which I love, after Friday's show, we got JK just saying, "Everyone must go, even you. Yeah, you, Andrew." Detective Rogers, the line between AI art and capture is being slowly blurred. What is this? What is this? Have you ever seen a crazier capture?
What?
I think maybe it had some poisoned, maybe it had some of those poisoned AIs in there, because that's...
Clearly. I mean, they are kind of, not, I don't say built by AI, but...
Then we got Avatar, the Last Truthbender. Good old Kaimatara. Always coming through with the memes. I personally quite love this one. I just... Raijin came through with a Rawiri Waititi meme. Say, Tim, I heard you like him young. Which I think is chef's kiss. Kiwi Burb, as always, coming through. We got Shane Jones, who's just sweating because he doesn't know what to do. Choose money or mana. And then some more amazing artwork, which we've added 2 artworks together now. We've got Marama Davidson giving fucking Nintendo DS the boot. There's also another version that has her kicking cancer, which is really cool. I wasn't able to fit them all in. I think this was Kiwi Burb. Yeah, this was Kiwi Burb as well, because I've made sure, you'll notice Kiwi, there's a little U lapel on Andrew, because I'm making sure people's faces are on these memes in case people steal them. So know the difference, Bailey versus Bailey. And we know Bailey loves a bit of Bailey. Google Knows It All has done some very, very good memes. Ems, this one's for you. Your wish has been granted. You now have a Cluedo government meme edition. Who killed the economy?
I like it. I like it.
And also, obviously, Chewie's guillotine. No choppy choppy, no stoppy stoppy.
Stoppy stoppy. Still
did
not
post
100% sure what he meant by that, but okay.
Choppy choppy as in chop the heads off, right?
Well, yeah, but
Revolution.
I mean, you know.
Beheading.
Like, well, yeah, I guess
Yeah, if we don't do the choppy choppy, there'll be no stoppy stoppy. And for the creation of the week, Kaimatara came in and perfectly recreated my SpongeBob comparison of Shane Jones.
I did see that.
Yes, I couldn't help myself. I had to post it on Blue Sky already, but it's just so good. Like, it just gets me. And I'm going to keep... for anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to start putting... Well, I might have to put links, but in our Discord, I'm going to be putting meme PDFs and links to things that are on the show so you guys can find them. If you like.
If you like it, if you like it, if you like.
All right, what do we got? Have we covered most of the things? Because I do have a couple
We have.
I can cover some of our smaller things now then. All right, why not? Let's...
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, you got 5 minutes.
We'll do community notice board. Actually, you know what? We're just going to share my fucking screen because it will make my life easier. Also, to the person who said in the comments earlier, you're surprised I can show my screen so freely. It's because I purposely opened this window for the show. I'm not stupid. All right. So we might as well go submissions first. Do you want to pop me up on the screen, please? I haven't made a graphic today.
Yeah.
So we've got tonight closes the anti-money laundering, counterfeiting financing of terrorism amendment bill. Also at midnight is additionally the gun control submissions. I believe Kiwi Skirt's been putting links in below. Highly recommend you can go onto their website. It looks super complicated, but you don't have to fill every single section out. Just fill in the parts that basically are important and mattered. Or you can go and sign. I believe Kiwi's got 2 links, and one will be also to put your name onto a submission that has already been made up. So I recommend everyone go there like now-ish, or like open it up right now kind of thing, and try to get that in the next hour and a half, because the gun control one is super fucking important, because obviously they want to reverse the gun control laws that were implemented after the Christchurch mosque attacks, which is fucking disgusting. And it has not actually been really put in a place that was easy to find. So I was lucky to hear about it through Blue Sky. But yeah, highly recommend anyone who is willing to just go do that now. But then we've also got Regulatory Systems, Occupational Regulation Amendment Bill, closing on the 1st of April, Consumer Guarantee, the Right to Repair Amendment Bill, 3rd of April, Regulatory Systems Courts Amendment Bill, 3rd of April, Regulatory Systems Tribunals Amendment Bill, 3rd of April, and the Auckland Council Auckland Future Fund Bill. Don't know anything about those, but they keep updating these a lot. So if you want to have a look, go to parliament.nz and make a submission, and you can go and support the submission or oppose it. Also, it is coming up to Pride Month. So I just wanted to put this in front of everyone to remind you that we have Pride Month coming up, and there is a lot going on in Christchurch. If you go to Ōtautahi Christchurch Pride, you can find all the links to some awesome events. I really wish I could go to this boat party because it sounds really cool. Very jealous of you guys for getting that. There's also the Pride March, obviously, on the 1st of March. So shout out to Christchurch. Obviously, Dunedin Pride Month is here too. So it's Pride for some reason Auckland does it on a different month, and I don't know, that's very typical of Auckland. But obviously Dunedin Pride has a lot going on, so highly recommend checking those ones out. And there's actually a video that I wanted to show from the mana whenua here in Te Whanganui Ātara, because it's quite important, I think, for us to think about this when it comes to what's been happening to our rainbow events in regards to the Destiny Church. So we'll just quickly, you have to make sure I got the sound on, so let me know if it's not on for any reason. Oh shit. Hide.
I'm not hearing anything.
No, okay, hold on. Sorry, once again. Oh, take me off. Yep. I will just share that slide separately because I think it was just. Yeah, there we go. And
sorry, yep.
I'm one of the local descendants or uri of the local mana whenua Te Atiawa Taranaki Whānui ki te upoko te ika Māui, the local mana whenua of the Wellington region. You have to excuse me where I'm doing this video. I'm actually in Hāwera at the moment preparing for Te Matatini, Te Kāui Tūpua, and I had a spare moment to step out of practice and come do this video as it's very important. The reason why I'm doing this video is some of the organisers have asked me to share a little bit about the tikanga that has been laid by us as local mana whenua, local iwi and hapu within the Wellington region. And this is in response to what happened in Tāmaki Makaurau, where a certain group had used haka as a way to incite violence, fear and aggression towards others within our whānau takatāpui, whānau auanuku, whānau kahukura hoki. So within our region and with our iwi and hapu, we have laid the tikanga or the protocols of te kahu o te raukura, which is the cloak of the raukura. The raukura is the albatross feather, which represents peace, compassion, love and non-violence and goodwill to all humankind, no matter where you're from. Ahakoa no hiakwe. It was laid in 2022 at one of our marae, Pipitia marae, at our ancestral house, Te Upoko o Te Ika. It was laid by our rangatira and kaumātua, our elders, in response to a certain protest that took place in that time where they had actually desecrated one of our wahi tapu, or our whenua, our land, which is called Waititi. Waititi, you'll know as the parliamentary grounds. Although Parliament stands there, yes, that's all controversial. Where it stands on that whenua is called Waititi, and it is where our ancestors, before the first European settlers came, used to grow their marakai, their gardens for food and sustenance. So it's very tapu for us. And when this particular protest took place and the land was desecrated, we laid the tikanga to remind other people around the world that when you come to Wellington region, you must uphold the tikanga of Te Kahu o Te Raukura. Yes, you can come and protest, but you must do it to enhance the mana of others and uphold those things of love, compassion, and non-violence. So it was laid. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you again is because let's say that a certain group might come down during our parade and festivities, during Pride Week or for our whānau takatapui. If a haka takes place by the certain group, we can't promise that it will or that it won't happen, because I have an inkling to think that they probably don't understand what tikanga means. I'll give you an example of a group where everyone understood what tikanga meant. Was the last or the first largest protest in New Zealand, which was the Treaty of Waitangi Principles Bill protest. The largest in our history, yet it was the most smooth and peaceful, but yet powerful protest. That is because they understood the tikanga by our local iwi and us as mana whenua te Atiawa Taranaki whānui, and the tikanga of Te Kahu o Te Raukura. So if these people do come down and do a haka during our festivities, we ask that you don't respond in the same way. Don't even pay attention to it. I'll tell you a little bit of history. With our iwi, when we would have...
We'll leave that there, but he's going to go into a bit of a history lesson, and I'll just summarize it here, is that basically he's recommending that everyone meet any kind of action from an entity such as the Destiny cult or anything, not to obviously meet them or give them any kind of attention. However, he suggests the use of poi, because that was actually something that mana whenua used when they were there was some raru that happened. So they're recommending that everyone take poi. So I thought it would be really cool to kind of let people know about that, and kind of maybe, I guess, say to people, like, if you want, I do recommend maybe get together with some people, make some I know we don't have plastic bags from New World anymore, so it is a bit harder to make them.
Yeah.
But I mean, get together with some friends. Hell, if you're going to Pride, maybe make some Pride colored poi, because, like, could you imagine how cool it would be to have like pansexual poi and all the different flags, like, and yeah, also to remember that waiata is one of the best things you can use against these hate groups. And they did suggest Te Aroha, but I'm not a fan of that one. So I'm suggesting that everyone remember that they can start singing Tūtira Mai Ngā Iwi. For anyone who couldn't remember the lyrics, go to the Wellington Pride Festival
I love it.
Instagram. You'll be able to find them. And just a reminder that when it comes to kia tapatahi, a lot of us learned that it was kia ko tapatahi, but the ko was incorrect. So just make sure that you know that these are actually the correct lyrics, because I saw an article that was talking about how a lot of people, because I learnt the wrong version too, but in looking up these things, I learnt that, it turns out that is not actually how you say it. It is that.
Nice.
Also, did you watch Philip today?
I did, but I think we're running out of time.
Okay. I was going to say, there's just that cute little thing about the dogs.
There was that little cute little thing. So I encourage you to go and watch today's Philip DeFranco show, because yes, there was two really nice stories at the end of that.
Just watch the end of it.
The end of it. Just the rest is what you expect. Before we go, and only because I promised this to you guys, here's a quick snippet of the first BHN show, in which we are now celebrating the 3rd birthday of BHN. Here's a quick little tizzy, and I'll put the link in the chat if anyone wants to go and watch the first episode. But here's a little tizzy of what it used to look like. Oh, isn't that music?
Alrighty, mighty, here we go. It's Big Hairy News, and we are joined by Jeremy Elwood. Jeremy, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Pat.
Lovely to be with you. I feel like we're rekindling something of years gone by.
Yeah, it does feel kind of familiar, doesn't it? Yeah.
So thank you. People who are joining us, this is the first of something we're trying to do. We're calling it BHN, Big Hairy News. Now, let me be clear. Okay, we see the beards and we see the facial hair. It's not about that. It's about the big, hairy story of the day. You know, we talk about big, hairy, audacious goals. This is about the big, hairy news stories of the day and having a chat about them and having a chat with people who have opinions on them, who know about them, who are involved in them. So, Jeremy, thanks for jumping in on this one. We're going to attempt, and I'll say attempt because, look, this is a bit of a soft launch, as people in the entrepreneurial world would say. We're going to attempt to do this every day at 11 a.m. And so hopefully if you are watching this or are going to watch this, you are more than welcome to join in. Sharing what we do would be amazing. And also contributing. Our aim is to be live sort of between 11 and 12 most days, all days really, all weekdays. And your comments from watching will also be valued and added to the conversation as well. So for example,
so there you go. It's that's how it all started. The format's not really changed all that much, to be honest. And he said it from the very beginning. Party. It wasn't about I don't think I've got anything even similar to that. What have I got? I got you kind of, it looks like I'm having a meltdown over here. Yes, it was never about the big hairy boys. It was always about the big hairy news stories of the day. So, but here we are, 3 years later, still going strong.
The stories get
hairier. And they do. It was a fucking great time to start a news commentary show. Before we go, Pat has reminded me that there is a Patreon meetup tomorrow at 11 a.m. You should have got the link if you're a current patron member. And if you won't be able to join this Saturday, but if you'd like to become a Patreon member, you can go over to patreon.com/bighairynews. And each month there is amongst awesome content, there is a members meetup for all people of all tiers, to which you can have a chat with Pat, sometimes myself, Magenta, and Chewie. I won't be there tomorrow, sorry. But
yeah, I'll be
Magenta
there,
will
guys.
tomorrow.
I love hanging out with the patrons. They're cool.
Yes, I wish I could be there, but I'll be there in spirit.
You'll be busy with your weed fest.
Yeah.
Fest.
You can come, if you're in Christchurch and you're coming, come and say hi at the Cosplay Cafe. That's where I'll be. But yeah, no, that's been the weekly news. Was there anything you wanted to send us off with? Anything big that we might have missed?
Nah, the only thing I had was the dog.
The only thing I had was a dog. Go and watch. Actually, before I get too overexcited, here is the link to that very first episode for you guys if you want to go down memory lane. I love it. So I don't have anything like that. It's sad.
To be fair, I won this, so I actually won a very expensive lamp through an Instagram competition. So, because there's no way I'd spend. Dude, this is a $500 lamp. I would never spend that much money on a fucking lamp.
That's
yeah,
that's
right.
That's a bit. All right, shall we send it off then? Friday show. A Dunskies. Another one Dunskies for the week.
Party time. Excellent.
Help us settle it to be, whether it be thoughtful or funny, even if we're all creatures of hate. It's a fine line that we're walking together. For better, push aside the temptation to berate. Let's take a note of the corners we stand in. As many points as the hairs on my chinny chin chin. When the news that we're watching is hairy, knowing all the things that we need to be wary. and the mice from the rats, and picking and choosing a warpath to run, linking ourselves with the hill to die on. It's gotta come down to a welcoming vibe with an A and a self and a higher in mind. All heavily, neither this way or that, and will be analyzed by what Chewie and Pat. With the evil in the world trying to mess with your head, and you're sitting on the couch, you're thinking chivalry's dead. Each night, 2 nights, they're gonna sing you to bed. It's Big Hairy News.
Thanks for joining everyone on tonight's Friday night show of BHN. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and thank you to Magenta for the wonderful deep dive on something very personal to you and very important for everyone to learn about. Anything to say before we head off?
No, honestly, have a good weekend. Toi toi te tiriti, and if you can go to Rotokākahi or even just share stories about Rotokākahi, we need to keep our eyes on it, and we need to make sure that everyone knows about it. Other than that, keep cool to after school, whānau.
Nice. And don't forget the Patreon meetup tomorrow if you're a member. Otherwise,
And
we'll
Leftist
see you
Collective
next
on
Friday.
Sunday.
Oh, and Sunday. And Leftist Collective on Sunday.
Yes,
So join
all
us
the
there.
things.
All the things. All right, catch you guys, Jenny. Bye-bye.
Ka kite.